So if you guys haven't heard, my website is up and running. I completely redid it from top to bottom. I spent probably at least a solid 5 days straight working on it. And how it came out, I absolutely fucking love. And I hope you guys do too. Because on my website, it's not just about having clothing that brings awareness to mental health. It also has a lot of different mental health hotlines if you guys are struggling. And this isn't just specifically for if you are in an extreme mental health crisis and thinking about suicide. I also have a spot where you guys can share your stories, not just to help yourself and be able to get it out there, but potentially also help other people. Because what we've definitely learned over the last few years is how your story can potentially help somebody else start their healing journey. There's also a spot that if you guys have bought any merch from this store or any of my old stores that I've had, you can take a picture, send it over, and be shown on the website to show that you are also in support of mental health and being able to start that healing journey. I am so extremely excited about this, and it definitely hits a lot of different points that I believe are extremely important when it comes to healing and mental health and helping other people, while also not burning yourself out trying to continuously help one-on-one. Some people are absolutely amazing at working with people one-on-one, and some people are not. And both ways are 100% okay. So if you're one of those that want to help other people, whether you want to do one-on-one, whether you would rather just share your story in hopes it helps somebody, you can send your story over and that can still be posted. It will also either be anonymous or you can have your name out there. That's up to you. You just gotta let us know. Now the best part of the day. Sorry, I'm still trying to get used to the camera being over here. It's just, sorry. Let's go front of the book. Have you ever pretended to be something you weren't? If so, why? And how did it make you feel? What did you learn going through that? Have you ever pretended to be something you weren't? A lot of my life, I felt like I was pretending to be somebody I wasn't. I was doing everything I could growing up to try and fit in. I think mainly the only thing that I didn't try to pretend to be or really get into is substance abuse. But I did end up being diagnosed with an eating disorder. It was a form of control for me. It did definitely have to do with body image, but as I got older, it definitely became more of a control factor. When I felt like I was out of control, I would use that to feel like I had some form of control. I feel like at some point in our lives, all of us have. Especially growing up when you're trying to find out who you are. Sorry, I still keep looking up at the top. Over here. Back to what I was saying. When we're trying to find ourselves, we tend to go with the crowd and try to figure out who that is. I definitely tried to fit in and pretend to be somebody I wasn't throughout middle school, high school, and all the way up until I started to work on myself. One of the biggest things that a lot of people struggle with is outside validation, wanting the outside validation. On your healing journey, you start to learn that all validation that actually isn't just a temporary feeling is all inside of you. Outside validation works until it doesn't work, and then you go for more. In my mind, it kind of comes off as an addiction. And if one person doesn't give you the right amount or the certain kind, you look to somebody else. So growing up, I did all the different sports. I also tried to fit in with multiple different types of friends. Some of them were super preppy. Others were the outcasts that didn't really fit in. And then there were some of the in-betweens. Now, throughout this entire time, I was still bullied all throughout school. Didn't matter what group I was hanging out with. Didn't matter how hard I tried to fit in with them. I was not meant to fit in with those kinds of people. And when I talk about like the outcasts in the school, I'm also talking about the ones that were also bullied. But we were all bullied for multiple different reasons. Not all of them were the same. But whether you fit into that group or not is how you choose to handle those bullies. And I think that's one of the reasons why I also didn't really fit in with them. I was a very keep to myself type of person when it came to bullies. I hated standing up for myself, where the ones that I was hanging around is they would definitely react in multiple different ways, including violently. And most of the time when they did that, it wasn't because they're just a violent person. They literally just got sick of everybody's shit. But then they were bullied even more for doing that. So overall, I didn't just try to pretend to be one type of person. I tried to be multiple different types of people, to try to find my way, to try to fit in, to also find that outside validation. How did it make me feel? A lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. It led me down a line of eating disorders. It led me with a lot of low self-esteem. Because a lot of the time when you're looking for outside validation, it's only a temporary fix. And if you don't get the validation that you're looking for, it's not going to help you. And you're going to continue to try to find it somewhere else. It led me down a road of a lot of struggles. And overall, I felt like absolute fucking shit. I felt like I'm still not where I'm supposed to be, and if I was ever actually going to find my place in the world. What did I learn going through that? I learned a lot. 1, validation problems, validation issues. A lot of people look for outside validation. I used to look for outside validation. But true validation is going to come from yourself. Everything you want somebody else to say to you is stuff you have to say to you. If you're constantly talking negatively about yourself, even with outside validation, you're never going to see what you actually are or who you actually are. The second thing, society's standard of perfect does not exist. There is no one right way to live. There is no one right way to look. The only perfect is you being your most authentic self, taking accountability for those wrongs and learning from them, using them to grow, and continue to be a better you than you were yesterday. 3, you're not going to get along with everybody, no matter how much you try to fit in. There will still be people that do not like you just because you're you. There will be people that will be able to see right through the facade that you try to put on when you try to fit in. If it doesn't feel right for you, then it's not for you. 4, don't put yourself in a position that makes you feel uncomfortable. If you feel uncomfortable around certain people, you don't need to stay around them. You have the option to choose what's best for you. And sometimes people aren't going to agree with those choices that you make. But they're not living your life. They aren't you. You have control over how you choose to react to things, who you choose to be around, and what you choose to do with your life. Outsiders can have influences on that, but that doesn't mean you have to always listen to them. If you want another video going over things that I've learned since I've started my healing journey, definitely let me know down in the comments. But the quote for today, I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not, by Kurt Cobain. Much love, Misfits.